Hey guys, Late Boy Scout here with a fixed blade knife review that has been a long time coming. This is the Ka-Bar Large Heavy Bowie. Let's get into some specs before I unsheath this thing and show it to you. This blade is made of 1095 steel with a Kraton G handle with a nice little lanyard hoop there, lanyard hole there. Comes in around 15 ounces for just the blade itself and about 20 ounces for the blade plus sheath. Which is actually fairly lightweight considering what it can do. So I'm going to say that those specs are pretty decent. 9-inch blade, if I didn't already say that. Cordura and leather sheath. And I found it to be quite sufficient for the role that I've put it into. Now, I've never ever put it through a belt loop at all, or looped it through my belt there at all and carried it that way. I don't think I ever would. The size of this knife, I just don't think I'd want to carry it on my belt and sort of hike around with this thing. I might lash it to the exterior of a backpack, but I'd never actually carry it on my belt. What I have done with this knife is stick it inside the backpack and carry it that way, and I recommend that. It works just fine that way. Of course, there is a ring on the end of here. If you do choose to thread that through your belt, and you could easily tie on some cordage there and wrap that around your leg to hold it steady and keep it in place. So, shall we look at the blade? Yeah, here's the reason why I haven't pulled the blade out yet. Oh my goodness! Seriously? What the heck is that, dude? Yeah, that's right. I took a chunk out of my Ka-Bar Large Heavy Bowie. Holy crap. You guys may not be able to tell, but that's around the width of a nickel. Right there. And yeah, it's a pretty decent chunk that was taken out of my blade. How did this happen? Well, pretty normal use, I think. I had this thing on a backpacking trip, and it was my primary wood processing knife. I had smaller knives for camp chores and just kind of small utility stuff, but this was my wood processing knife. I was not chopping at a large tree. I had a log there already. It was about 9 inches in diameter, so fairly big log, and it was kind of knotty as well. Had lots of knots in it. So, you know, given the fact that it had all those knots, I wanted to give myself the easiest time possible with that log. So I was, instead of just trying to drive it through the center of the thing, I was shaving off pieces from the side, using a baton and splitting off little sections, basically, you know, kind of smaller chunks of wood, big enough to be fuel wood or big enough to split down into kindling. And in the process of that, I got pretty far along and actually processed one entire log that way, and then moved on to the second one, which I got most of the way through, and at one point it encountered a knot that it just did not like very much, and it gave up, it gave in, and that big chunk was taken off of the knife. And I kind of knew it was happening. Well, no, I didn't know it was happening. I knew it had happened. I could hear it. I could hear a little chink as I gave that whack down into the log. So, yeah, there you are. Ka-Bar Large Heavy Bowie's got a big chunk out of it now. About nickel size, as I mentioned. Is it still a usable knife? Yeah, I'd say it would still probably get some wood splitting done. Maybe some chopping done. However, you know, the fact that it's got this big gash in it now, it's just not going to be quite as effective, quite as reliable as I'd like it to be. So I've talked with a rep from Ka-Bar and you know, talked about their warranty replacement and so forth. I've worked out a nice situation with them that I'm going to be happy with and they are content with. And yeah, so I'm going to have this taken care of by Ka-Bar. So thank you, Ka-Bar, for that. Thanks for being there as far as customer service and warranty repair / replacement is concerned. I'm always a big fan of companies that do a good job with warranty repair and replacement. Leatherman being one. Kershaw has done a good job by me as well. So Ka-Bar, I'm now happy to add you to that list. I'm sorry that the knife got damaged like this and that I have to take advantage of that warranty. I'd rather have the knife and just keep it and, you know, keep using it. But again, I don't feel like it's going to be as effective as it ought to be from this point forward. And yeah, I mean, this kind of a chunk getting taken out of the blade because of a knot in the wood. I really just don't understand how that would happen, except there's a defect in the steel. So I'm just guessing that's what it is. And we're going to go ahead and move forward with that warranty repair replacement, assuming that is the case. So let's talk about how this knife has behaved for me up to this point. It's been quite good. You've seen a lot of my videos to this point, not a lot, but a handful of videos where I've been testing this knife, and I'm rolling some of that footage in now. It's performed really well as a chopper, as a wood splitter, and just sort of general preparing wood for fire use, and just a lot of heavy use in general. The Ka-Bar Large Heavy Bowie has done a great job with that stuff, and you can tell that I have used it quite a bit, because look at all that finish that's been worn off. Yeah, I did not take sandpaper to that, guys. I was driving this through wood quite a lot, and that finish is, obviously this is what it used to look like, and so now it's very shiny here and completely worn off around there. So I have indeed given this knife quite a great deal of testing, and even given the fact that it's got this little chip in it, I'm not going to discount the knife entirely. I'm not going to say that this is a piece of garbage. I think that what can I say? I mean, this one failed on me. I think this is just one specimen, though. Overall, I'm not going to condemn the type. I'm not going to condemn the knife. I think Ka-Bar makes really good knives. I think they know what they're doing as far as knife manufacture and knife design is concerned. Yes, this one was made in Taiwan. You can blame it on that if you want. Blame it on the Chinese. But I honestly I think it's still a pretty decent knife. It came razor sharp out of the box, and as of right now, I'm still scared of this edge. And I've never really touched it up. I've never really done a lot of sharpening of any kind with this knife. I've never really had to. All the work that I do with it, I spray a little WD-40 on it while I'm using it, and then I oil it up again when I put it away and clean it up as best as I can before I put it away. And I feel like it's adequately rust resistant. I haven't noticed a lot of rust accumulating on that edge there. Yeah, I might see a little sliver here and there of rust, but that's rare. I mean, and that's if I'm not taking good enough care of the blade. I'm not cleaning it off well enough. I just kind of hurriedly put it away, throw it in my backpack, and then forget to put it away for several days or something. Or, forget to take it back out and clean it for several days. Then I might find a spot or two of rust on the blade. Generally speaking, not so much. No rust whatsoever. It's just performed really well. As I mentioned, the steel I feel is really tough, really strong. Outstanding edge. The tip is still in perfect condition, and everything about this knife is tough, is strong, and damage notwithstanding, I still feel like this is a pretty decent knife. Ka-Bar Large Heavy Bowie. Guys, I'm still pretty much a fan of this thing. It's going back to Ka-Bar now, and again, I've got a situation worked out with them that I'm happy with, and they're going to be happy with. And so, kudos to them for taking care of that for me. But even so, I was kind of tempted to hang on to this thing, maybe get a knife sharpener to, somebody professional to go in and reprofile this thing, grind it down to that edge there, to that point there, and just have kind of a shallower, not so broad blade. I imagine that would still be pretty effective and probably a little bit less heavy. If this was something that, I don't know, my dad gave me, if this had that kind of sentimental value for me, I would, in fact, probably have some work like that done and hang on to this thing for even longer, because a good portion of this blade is still in great shape. Finish notwithstanding, still in very good shape. So, no talking points this time, just trying to bang through it, guys. I'm the Late Boy Scout, and that's my review and my discussion and my faith in the Ka-Bar Large Heavy Bowie. I still feel like it's a good knife, damage notwithstanding. If you're interested in it, go check it out. There's lots of videos online showing demonstrations about it. You've seen some of my demonstrations of this knife. It's only around $50, guys. And for what you get, wow. I mean, 1095 steel, it's pretty tough stuff. Kraton G handle, which is very comfortable. Oh man, really comfortable. I mean very comfortable. Good shock absorption as you're batoning through wood and as you're chopping, and good retention in hand. This little hook here, oh man, it feels good. I mean, it keeps your hand in place. And if you get a nice little lanyard on it like I did with this one, you got no concerns whatsoever about this thing flying out of your hand or having it get lost in any way. Still an outstanding knife. I'm the late Boy Scout. We'll talk to you later.